Tonight, Hurricane Melissa tears through the Caribbean.
Jamaica's gone through what I can call one of its worst periods.
Torrential flooding and catastrophic winds leave extraordinary destruction.
Terrifying. Nothing like I've ever experienced.
One of the most powerful hurricanes on record. Alberta teachers and students head back to class tomorrow, ordered by the province.
I don't really agree with how that was done.
The simmering anger over the rare use of the notwithstanding clause to end the strike. And after an 18-inning marathon defeat, the Jays regroup for Game 4.
Jays, let's go!
And tonight, they are up against one of the best players baseball has ever seen.
From CBC News, this is The National with Chief Correspondent Adrienne Arsenault.
Thanks for joining us. Hurricane Melissa is taking direct aim at Cuba tonight. People there bracing to ride out the storm that just ripped through parts of Jamaica. It roared in there at an extremely dangerous Category 5, the strongest hurricane to hit that island in at least 174 years. And the results are devastating. Parts of Jamaica are underwater tonight. Hundreds of thousands of people are without power. A clear picture of just what was lost to that monster storm is still emerging. So Melissa made landfall near the community of New Hope early this afternoon, then slowly crawled across the western part of the island. Now it's targeting Cuba. Then it is expected to pass near Bermuda. Melissa has since weakened some, but is still a very powerful, very dangerous storm. In Jamaica, officials say it will take time to learn the extent of the damage. Katie Nicholson walks us through what we know so far.
When Melissa slammed into Jamaica, it was with incredibly violent winds, gusting up to 320 kilometers an hour, bending trees and metal. It tore at roofs and flooded streets.
This gully here is starting to rise.
Officials had warned people to evacuate to shelters ahead of the monster Category 5.
There will be catastrophic damage.
In Black River, 3 families were marooned during the height of the storm when it was too dangerous for rescuers to venture out. Their fate, officials said, not immediately clear. There are also 25,000 tourists on the island. Many moved into shelters on resorts, including this vacationing Canadian.
Terrifying. Nothing like I've ever experienced, and I have experienced a tornado.
The deluge of rain loosened soil. Landslides pulled down trees and pushed boulders into roads, cutting people off.
The entire Jamaica has felt the brunt of Melissa.
The first damage reports, grim.
Jamaica has gone through what I can call one of its worst periods. Our infrastructure has been severely compromised.
The electric grid, including parts that had just been rebuilt, dismantled.
Seeing devastation with poles coming down, with transmission towers and distribution lines,
leaving hundreds of thousands in the dark. The hurricane also pummeled Jamaica's breadbasket, the fertile plains of St. Elizabeth Parish, where so much of its food is produced, underwater. The area still recovering after being hit last year by Hurricane Beryl.
You can only imagine how difficult it will be for them.
It will take days for Jamaica to fully assess the damage. As Melissa churned northward, straight towards Cuba, its president implored people to move to safer areas. No longer a Category 5, but still a mammoth, slow-moving and dangerous storm. Katie Nicholson, CBC News, Toronto.
Canada's Jamaican community is coming together tonight, ready to help loved ones on the island and each other through this disaster. She and Desjardins with the worry as many waited for news.
Everyone needs to be safe.
Between clients at his Toronto hair salon, Jason McDonald can't stop thinking about his friends and family in Hurricane Melissa's path, hoping everyone makes it through.
In Canada, we have to prepare for winter. In Jamaica, this is a part of what we have to prepare for, tropical storms.
This one, though, is much different. One of the strongest to hit Jamaica in generations. And for people here in Canada, the mere thought is terrifying.
I'm in contact with my aunt, it's fine, but there's always that fear that one time we call her and we don't get her, and then what happens from there, you know?
I don't know what's going on. I try to reach them, and I can't reach nobody.
From coast to coast, people are watching the havoc unfold. In Newfoundland and Labrador, the Jamaican Canadian Association is trying to provide mental health support.
I had one family member who said that it's unlike anything he's experienced before.
And in BC, it's organizing aid for the aftermath.
This is a small island and all the help is going to be needed for recovery.
For now, though, all people can do is wait. The owners of this Prince Edward Island restaurant keep calling home, praying like so many others, family picks up.
If we lose power and lose everything, and that's going to be another worry, headache, because you don't know what's going on.
Business owners and residents in the Jamaican community here are holding an emergency meeting to discuss sending support, and the federal government says it's ready to provide disaster assistance. Chien Desjardins, CBC News, Toronto.
There's growing anger tonight after the Alberta government ordered teachers back to work, ending a 3-week strike. And as Julia Wong tells us, students head back to school tomorrow as the union threatens legal action.
Bill 2 is passed.
Order! After a debate that stretched into the wee hours, Alberta ended a province-wide teacher strike, invoking the notwithstanding clause.
Kids will be going back so that they can have that routine, have that structure, continue with their academics and their social development. That's paramount to everything.
Alberta's premier, absent for the vote. Off on a Middle East trade mission her office says has been in the works for more than a year. The notwithstanding clause allows governments to override certain charter rights. Its use is rare. Parents are conflicted.
Because then it'll be less crazy for me, but I care about my kids more than I care about my routine. You know, a lot to have them home. I don't like the reasons why they have to go back tomorrow. I don't really agree with how that was done.
For teachers who spent 3 weeks off the job, it's frustrating.
I have worried about my students, and today is hard because we are returning without achieving what we really wanted.
We're excited to get back to work, but the circumstances kind of suck.
Education's underfunded, we want more! 51,000 striking teachers had stressed classroom sizes, supports for students with complex needs, and pay were sticking points. But the back-to-work law left no more room for negotiation, imposing a collective agreement teachers overwhelmingly rejected before the strike. The teachers' union is exploring legal options, including an emergency injunction.
This government's assault on workers' rights has only united us. Teachers will comply with the law, but make no mistake, compliance is not consent.
Amnesty International, Unifor, and the Canadian Labour Congress have slammed Alberta's move.
The use of the notwithstanding clause to trample on workers' rights has an impact far beyond teachers in Alberta. The reality is that this theoretically impacts every single worker heading to a bargaining table.
Labor unions nationally and provincially are meeting to figure out their next moves.
Julia, you have to wonder what sort of environment the students are going back to.
Yeah, so teachers and students will be back in the classroom on Wednesday, and things are tense right now between the teachers union and the province. But the union stresses teachers are professionals who want to create a safe and caring environment for their students.
All right, thank you. That is Julia Wong reporting in Edmonton tonight. We're going to dig into the notwithstanding clause later in the hour. We'll break down exactly what it is, what it was meant for, and why it is so rarely used. The ceasefire in Gaza is under strain again tonight. Israel's military has launched deadly new attacks as both sides accuse each other of violating the peace deal. Chris Brown joins us now from London. So, Chris, can you take us through the latest tonight?
Well, these strikes, these Israeli strikes, Adrienne, are probably the biggest test yet for this ceasefire, which is about 18 days old. Among the targets were Gaza's Sabra neighborhood, is also a car in Han Yunis. There appear to be a couple of triggers for Israel's military action: impatience that Hamas has not yet returned the bodies of all of the hostages, that Hamas has returned in some cases the wrong remains, and that the group might even have staged the discovery of a body as well. Also, Israel says its troops were attacked near Rafah on Tuesday on its side of the so-called Yellow Line. Hamas says it was not involved, But Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu nonetheless said powerful attacks on Hamas targets would follow. Both sides have accused the other repeatedly of breaking this truce that was brokered by Donald Trump. Israel has attacked Gaza a couple of times already. It's halted aid into the territory, while Hamas has refused to disarm, as Israel and the U.S. Say the ceasefire deal compels them to.
So where does this leave that ceasefire deal?
Well, in Washington, D.C., the U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance said he believes the ceasefire is holding and what he called skirmishes are to be expected. Now, back in March, a ceasefire was also broken after Israel launched major airstrikes on Gaza, and Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced more attacks would come. Now, notably, Adrienne, there's been no similar statement from Israel this time, but in its statement, Hamas said it's committed to this ceasefire deal.
All right, well, the whole world is watching. All right, thank you. That is Chris Brown reporting in London. There are reports of mass killing in Sudan's western Darfur region after rebels forced out the army, taking control of the key city of El Fashour. Thousands of people have also been displaced after fleeing the violence. Paramilitary fighters with the RSF are being accused of targeting non-Arab groups, which it denies. It now controls all 5 state capitals in Darfur, a major turning point in Sudan's civil war that began in April of 2023. Well, retail giant Amazon is cutting thousands of corporate jobs, the latest company to shed positions while investing big in AI. Anis Haidari explains why that trend is likely to continue and which jobs are most at risk.
Amazon cutting 14,000 jobs from its corporate ranks. It's a lower number than initially reported. The company didn't say how many Canadians face cuts, but Amazon has said it's looking at artificial intelligence. In an online letter about these layoffs, an Amazon executive called AI transformative, writing, "It's enabling companies to innovate much faster than ever before. We're convinced that we need to be organized more leanly." Amazon has already announced it's investing billions of dollars in AI.
Big tech is creating headcount for horsepower, being able to leverage AI into our day-to-day jobs, whether it's HR or legal or engineering, has really upgraded efficiency.
Though it's not just big tech cutting jobs while expanding AI. 450 office jobs gone at food delivery company Just Eat. 1,300 people looking for work after losing jobs at Indeed and Glassdoor. And consulting firm Accenture cut more than 11,000 positions.
Those jobs will be those where they're just...
This business professor says AI is changing things.
So we're really talking about the services sector, those people that work in front of a computer all day long, like you or me, in a tall building or a reasonably tall building. We're in the services sector. That's banking, that's pensions, that's government, that's broadcasting, that's academic.
Though this type of job cut may not hit every type of worker.
And so AI is going to be very disruptive, but it's just not going to be uniform across the board and affect everybody equally.
Amazon has more than 1.5 million people working for it, so axing 14,000 jobs might seem like a drop in the bucket. But as more employers switch out human intelligence for artificial, these cuts may not be the last. Anis Haidari, CBC News, Calgary.
The Blue Jays are back on the field in LA tonight, taking on the Dodgers in Game 4, the World Series. Toronto was down 2-1 after a heartbreaking 18-inning loss in Game 3 last night. Thomas Daigle is in LA covering the game for us. So, Thomas, Blue Jays have scored to give themselves a little bit of a cushion.
Yeah, the Jays have got something of a rally going in the 7th inning. It's 4-1 for the Blue Jays. Some of the big storylines of the evening coming from superstars Shohei Ohtani for the Dodgers and for the Toronto Blue Jays, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. And they are giving the Jays fans who travel from every corner of Canada something to cheer for.
Jays, let's go! They've come all this way to see their team go all the way.
Quarters of our airplane were all Jay fans.
Yeah.
And how does that feel? It was awesome.
It's fun, man.
Yeah, it was great.
I mean, I was 20 years old when we last won it. With the Blue Jays fresh off an 18-inning defeat. Game over. Fans descended on Dodger Stadium from BC, Alberta, and beyond.
Tell me why it was important for you to wear the Maple Leaf. Not just the Jays gear, but the red Maple Leaf.
We want people to know who we are and who we're pulling for. Can blue and blue is confusing.
Consider it a blue-on-blue battle, with Toronto needing at least one win in LA to keep fans' dreams alive.
Hopefully they win, and then we go back and cheer them on there on Friday. Let's go, Blue Jays!
On the mound for the Dodgers, baseball's biggest star, Shohei Ohtani.
And Ohtani strikes him out on 3 pitches.
Striking out Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in the first, then as a batter facing Jays starter Shane Bieber. No! Ohtani drawing a leadoff walk. Top of the third, and here comes Vladdy.
Hit well to deep left center.
A 2-run homer from Guerrero.
And this one will go!
Giving the Jays an early lead. Later, Ohtani back at the plate, and Bieber strikes him out looking.
Strike 3 call.
Dodger fans expecting their man will have another big night as the Jays try to shut him down.
Pair of RBIs from Andres Jimenez and Ty France from the Blue Jays, and it is 4-1 in the 7th inning. Again, to reiterate here, a word on Vladimir Guerrero Jr. as well. That 2-run shot off of a pitch from Shohei Ohtani. That makes Guerrero the Blue Jay with the most postseason home runs in franchise history, overtaking the legendary Joe Carter and Jose Bautista, if you can imagine. And of course, Vladdy has only been hitting homers in 1 postseason so far. As for Shohei Ohtani, the pitcher, he has left the game. Shohei Ohtani, the hitter, so far has been neutralized by the Blue Jays as they look to tie up this best-of-7 World Series at 2 games apiece, Adrienne.
All right, that's Thomas Daigle in LA for us tonight. Thank you. Now, Blue Jays fans know rooting for the team is one thing, but securing tickets is a whole other ordeal.
Some random guy just kind of came up to us and said, "Hey, do you guys want to come in with me?"
Their incredible World Series journey in our moment. And nail-biting games have fans on the edge of their seats.
His heart rate nearly doubled.
How that stress and all that anxiety is manifesting physically. Plus, Canada is at risk of losing its measles-free status.
If we were to lose our status, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing at an international level.
What experts say needs to happen right now. We're back in 2. Texas is suing Tylenol makers Johnson & Johnson and Kenvue over the drug's unproven links to autism. The lawsuit claims the companies deceptively marketed the painkiller to pregnant women despite knowing the risks. This comes weeks after President Trump urged pregnant women not to take the drug, claiming without scientific evidence that it can cause autism in children. Well, Canada is at risk of losing its status as a measles-free country 1 year after a major outbreak that spread to several provinces. Lauren Pelly now with what experts say Canada needs to do to keep its global health commitment.
Hello?
Catalina Friesen offers medical guidance in Low German, the language spoken by this Mennonite community in southwestern Ontario. The region has been the epicenter of the province's measles outbreak.
They do respect and understand the severity of it.
Measles spreads like wildfire in communities like this, where vaccination rates are low. Friesen is among those working to change that by building trust.
I understand what they're going through. I understand why they don't want to do immunizations, why they're scared, so I can help them understand the importance of it.
Even among the broader public, measles vaccination rates have slipped in many regions. Last October, Canada declared an outbreak after infections started rising in multiple provinces. Measles remains one of the world's most contagious diseases, and stopping its spread requires vaccine uptake as high as 95%.
We never want to see large measles outbreaks in Canada. It's completely unacceptable in 2025. We should not.
Dr. Isaac Bogosh says public health needs to be a countrywide priority. That means boosting vaccination rates, battling disinformation, and breaking down barriers.
Easy to say, but of course it takes time, effort, energy, resources to get that done.
And the clock is ticking. World Health Organization countries committed to eliminating measles by 2030. Canada hit that goal back in 1998. But the country could lose its elimination status if transmission continues beyond 1 year. Discussions start
in early November.
Quite frankly, if we were to lose our status, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing at an international level.
To have a country like Canada on that list is frankly shocking.
Some experts are calling for a national vaccine registry to track uptake across provincial borders. Others say we already know who's most at risk and just need better outreach.
Over the 6 years that I've been out here, there has been a very slight change in how many have gotten the immunizations for their families.
Friesen says this kind of life-saving education simply takes time. Lauren Pelly, CBC News, Toronto.
For Blue Jays fans, the World Series is an emotional roller coaster, and it is not over yet.
Your adrenaline, your cortisol, those are going up.
How all that tension could be affecting your body. Plus, the growing fears of more ice crackdowns. We hear directly from those dragged away. And
what happened in Alberta today should terrify every worker in Canada.
Alberta forces teachers back to work, but not without controversy. How the notwithstanding clause works. The National breaks down the story shaping our world. Next. The Canadian Museum of Nature says a new rhino species that lived 23 million years ago has been discovered in Nunavut. Researchers located most of its skeleton on Devon Island, making it the most northern rhino ever found. They believe it was about the size of a pony and didn't have a horn, and it resembles rhino fossils found in Europe, raising questions about how it ended up in Nunavut. So, baseball, another big night with the Blue Jays and Dodgers battling it out in the World Series. One cardiologist wanted to know just how intense is it for fans. As Jennifer Yoon shows us, their hearts might be working extra innings too.
And a curveball hit high and deep.
When your team is teetering on the edge of victory, euphoria and despair often come hand in hand. All that suspense has an impact on your body.
That was insane!
This Toronto cardiologist is measuring just how much while watching Game 3 of the World Series.
His heart rate nearly doubled.
Back down.
And there's a good reason why.
Your adrenaline, which is one of your stress hormones, your cortisol, those are going up. Also, your testosterone starts to climb, and those will all have effects on the heart rate and on the blood pressure.
Sports fans of all different stripes appear to feel that stress. One study used heart monitors to track Habs fans as they watched a game. It found those watching had heart rate increases similar to doing a strenuous or moderate workout. Another study tracked heart emergencies in German soccer fans during the World Cup. It found the number of heart attacks more than doubled on game days, especially among men with known coronary heart disease.
We physiologically can't tell the difference between a pitcher-hitter battle for a team that we love and a real threat from our environment.
This scientist thinks there's a psychological effect at play here too.
When we care a lot about our team, we experience something called identity fusion. You feel as if you are part of the game.
How's your heart?
I think it's holding up okay, but the heart rate's definitely increasing.
They're both out?
For most fans, the thrill of the game won't cause serious health issues, but those with underlying heart conditions should watch out for other symptoms like chest pain.
That's not normal, even with excitement.
Yes!
Still, enjoying the game can be good for you too.
It's going to spike your dopamine if your team wins. It's going to bring you closer in terms of your social connection to your friends.
And worth the emotional roller coaster. Jennifer Yoon, CBC News, Toronto.
Now it's time to dig deeper into the stories shaping our world. In ordering its teachers back to work, the Alberta government invokes the Charter's notwithstanding clause.
When classrooms reopen, they stay open.
What it means going forward, but first.
A lot of it is just to terrorize cities.
A U.S. government crackdown in the streets, masked agents using aggressive tactics, raising questions of legality.
It's crazy that they're able to treat people like this.
The wide net of a vast immigration force sweeping up both people in the U.S. illegally and American citizens. Those ICE raids are happening across the U.S. Terrence McKenna looks at the force's rapid expansion and meets with some who've been targeted.
United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, is now equivalent to some of the largest military forces in the world. This virtual army is supposed to be targeting criminal illegal immigrants in the United States, but more and more U.S. citizens and legal immigrants are being rounded up.
No les abra! No, you can't!
As these soldiers and police officers smash car windows and drag away passengers, they often encounter American citizens.
My name is Jose Castro. I'm a citizen here.
Why is all this happening?
You want it? You got it, sir. You got it.
Last February, Donald Trump's border czar, Tom Homan, announced that he would be starting his immigration crackdown on the East Coast.
I'm coming to Boston. I'm bringing hell with me.
This is what that promise looks like in action. What led up to this moment? In April, Juan Francisco Mendez and his wife Mary Lou were leaving their home in New Bedford, Massachusetts. Originally from Guatemala, Mary Lou has been granted refugee status in the U.S., and her husband was waiting for papers that would allow him to share her status. They were stopped by agents a few blocks from their home and videotaped what happened.
¿Me puedo ir? Que si tienen una orden de detención. Una orden, ¿no?
Pues sí, una orden.
Bueno, yo en ese momento me sentí segura porque sé que no estoy violando la ley. Tengo un caso con migración a través de una abogada.
Y cuando ese momento me entró un miedo, y ese momento le digo a mi esposa, llama a la abogada.
Juan and Mary Lou immediately called their immigration lawyer, Ondine Sniffen, who was on her way to work.
I said, give the phone to the officer so that I can speak to him. And they tried to hand it to him, and I heard him say, no, 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 no. And I said, they're just bluffing. And boy, was I wrong.
Yo me asusté. En un segundo pensé que sí me iban a golpear a mí porque fue detrás de mí.
Juan was dragged from the car and arrested, but he was one of the lucky ones, let go after a few days incarceration.
So far, 50 people from the New Bedford area have been picked up by ICE.
Do you have a feeling that they're trying to that ICE is trying to meet a quota, or
Absolutely. They're picking up people who have work permits, who have Social Security cards, and that doesn't matter to them.
As spring turned to summer, the focus of ICE action switched to California. There were wide-scale roundups of illegal immigrants at Home Depot stores where they had gone to find day labor jobs. There was also widespread resistance from the population and pitched battles in the streets.
All pedestrians will move outside the road, or you'll be arrested for impeding. All pedestrians will move outside the road now, or you will be arrested for impeding. Let's move them out! Move it right now!
A local border security official named Greg Bovino became the face of the Trump immigration crackdown in California. He released videos of himself leading massive ICE raids. He deployed his troops on horseback to sweep MacArthur Park in downtown Los Angeles. Bovino made clear his view that the police could run things better than elected politicians.
Now we're here making Los Angeles a safer place. Since we won't have politicians that'll do that, we do that ourselves.
Bovino released his own videos of ICE agents in action with a rock music background. And also a supposedly humorous video portraying ICE as the Darth Vader character from Star Wars, vanquishing enemies, which apparently included the media. UCLA law professor Jonathan Zasloff says there is a clear point to the ICE methods.
A lot of it is just to terrorize cities. I know a lot of people who are immigrants, even people with legal status who are afraid to go to their houses. Part of it is really kind of a white nationalism notion that you get rid of as many people who are as brown as possible. So that's kind of what they're trying to do.
In June, a lower court in California ruled that ICE could not detain people just because of the color of their skin or the language that they spoke. But that was effectively overturned by the Supreme Court in September in a temporary judgment.
Of course, the Supreme Court is now doing this. They're essentially striking down what district courts are doing, declaring the illegality, and they're not even bothering to tell us why. This is a MAGA court. It is a subsidiary of the MAGA movement because they issue decision after decision after decision where not only do they side with the Trump administration, they don't even bother to tell us why.
One of the largest ICE raids occurred in July at a legal cannabis farm north of Los Angeles. Hundreds of agents were deployed to round up hundreds of undocumented workers at the farm. U.S. Army veteran George Ratis, a U.S. citizen, was working as a security guard at the farm. There was a Fox News helicopter overhead that exclusively recorded video as Ratis got out of his white car and called out to the line of ICE officers.
I get out and I stand beside my car and I'm yelling to them like I'm a citizen, like I'm a U.S. citizen, I'm work right there. I'm just trying to get to work. They just immediately got hostile and just started being hostile and threatening for no reason.
What were they saying to you?
Get back in your car. The whole line walks in the line towards me, and I get back in my car and they surround my car and they throw tear gas into the crowd of protesters and behind my car, and it just engulfs my car. My driver's side window just gives in and it shatters, and immediately following it shattering, another agent sticks his arm through, pepper sprays me, sticks his arm through the window and just pepper sprays me in the face. They drag me out of the car, they throw me on the ground, and even though I'm just complying, an agent puts his knee on my back and another agent puts his knee on my neck, and as they're doing that, I'm just telling them like I can't breathe.
Ratis was arrested and held for 2 days in jail. He was released without charge.
It's crazy that they're able to treat people like this. It's crazy that it's even allowed. I mean, the Constitution is right there. I mean, that's everything we stand for.
The illegal immigration crackdown in California has caused a reduction in school attendance, as parents are worried about being arrested as they drop off their kids at school. It has also caused many immigrants to become reluctant to seek medical care because they could be arrested at hospitals. Amanda Trebek is an intensive care nurse who is upset about her patients avoiding care. And so she joined a community action group called the Harbor Area Peace Patrol. The group photographs the vehicles of ICE agents as they come and go from the ICE detention facility near the Los Angeles port. Then they circulate the photos to warn immigrants that ICE is operating in their neighborhoods.
To let them know which cars to look out for, right? Not just to wait until someone's kidnapped, but to be able to see a car, right? When we post it online, that's a kidnapper's car because they're going to car washes and Home Depots and taking working class people, right? So we want them to be able to get away.
Good morning, ladies. A kidnapping, we will go.
Some ICE agents find humor in their job, but they don't like being photographed. And one day Trebek was roughly arrested.
They told me that we need to stop taking photos, we need to get away, go away, to stop monitoring them. They didn't read me my rights or anything.
Sir, you okay?
Yeah, my keys are in there.
Okay.
It's like being kidnapped. I mean, you don't know who you don't know who they are. They don't identify themselves. There's no due process. Yeah.
What were you saying to them?
I said, please let me go, let me go. But they're big men. They're two men. You know, others were around with their guns, but you can't really do that much or say that much because they have guns. Yeah. You know, what do? You
guys are on the wrong side of history.
Trebek was held in custody for several hours and then released without charge.
I'm a fucking nurse. Let me go.
ICE has been able to do things that, as of 10 years ago, we would have dismissed as some sort of fantasy.
You're hurting everyone!
Is the U.S. becoming a kind of police state?
The federal government is attempting to make it a police state. Whether they will be able to do that really remains to be seen.
What Trump is doing is placing fear in the communities, right? They're jumping out, they're taking people, they're not, so they're trying to make us fearful so they can take over more power. I think that's the goal, right?
Why are you doing this?
It's just crazy that all this can happen, but I mean, it doesn't change, I mean, what the flag stands for or what it means to be an American. It just so happens that what's happening right now is unfortunate and it sucks and it's terrible, but it doesn't define America or the flag it stands for.
Donald Trump has expanded presidential power and directed it against American cities, American universities, and a long list of his personal enemies, as critics watch and wonder if there is any way they can stop him.
Terrence, I watch what you're doing and I wonder, is there anything the American courts are doing to try to restrain some of what's happening here and some of the excesses of Trump's immigration activities?
You know, just today, the Border Services agent that we featured in the story, Greg Bovino, was hauled before a court in Chicago. The judge seemed particularly upset at he and his agents tear gassing people at the drop of a hat. And so she actually demanded that he wear a body camera from now on and that he report to her at the end of every day at 6 o'clock sharp as to what his agents are up to in Chicago. The problem is these lower court decisions are often overturned by the Supreme Court or upper courts.
This one's probably headed there as well.
Who knows?
I understand that you are, this is one in a series of stories that you're doing broadly looking at what is happening with democracy in the United States. So what's next?
So we're going to focus on a few key topics. One of them is the Trump administration attack on universities, which has caused an epidemic of fear, not just among students across the country, but faculty too. And, you know, the threat to withhold billions of dollars of funds has brought a fierce debate about academic independence and freedom of speech.
Okay, this is important watching. Terrence McKenna, thank you.
Thanks.
After weeks on picket lines, Alberta's teachers are ordered back to the classroom.
We are now at a point where Alberta's children must come first.
We'll look at the charter clause and vote to support it and what that means next. Alberta uses the power of legislation to end a teacher's strike and collective bargaining.
After 18 months of negotiation and mediation, there is no reasonable path to settlement with teachers in sight.
And the province backstops the move by invoking a clause in the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. If you're wondering how that works, well, Lindsay Duncombe is here to show you. Call it the ABCs of the notwithstanding clause.
Anger from unions in Alberta today isn't just about legislating teachers back to work, it's about how.
What happened in Alberta today should terrify every worker in Canada.
It's almost as if you guys have actually never cared about our Charter of Rights and Freedoms, and you just use it as a talking point.
And this is wrong. Danielle Smith is wrong.
The government of Alberta invoked Section 33 of the Charter of Rights and Freedoms, the notwithstanding clause.
The notwithstanding clause is part of our Constitution.
We believe that this is a necessary measure to end the undue hardship caused by the teachers' strike.
To explain the controversial clause, let's go back to 1982. That's when the Queen signed the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. The provinces only agreed to the charter because it contained this. Section 33 says an act of parliament or legislature may override certain rights for a period of 5 years. Expected to be rarely used, the notwithstanding clause essentially means provinces don't always cede all power to the courts.
So this is really my nerdy moment to shine.
Jeffrey Sigalet teaches constitutional law at the University of British Columbia.
Here we are at the University of Calgary Faculty of Law.
Turns out he was giving a talk about the notwithstanding clause at the University of Calgary Law School today of all days. He thinks the outrage is exaggerated.
Perhaps Alberta should cut the teachers a different deal. Perhaps not. Constitutionally, though, the sky is not falling.
He explains by including the clause in the legislation, the Alberta government prevents the teachers' union from taking the government to court, prolonging the strike.
It could have dragged things out, right? That's the bottom line. And that's part of what the Alberta government's calculation is in using a notwithstanding clause here.
Now, the charter doesn't specifically mention the right to strike, but a Supreme Court ruling a decade ago set precedent.
In its ruling, the Supreme Court says public sector workers have a right to strike as a necessary part of collective bargaining.
We will never, ever waver from our position that students remain in the class.
A couple of years ago, Ontario Premier Doug Ford attempted to use the notwithstanding clause to avoid a teacher's strike. But in that case, it backfired. Teachers walked off the job. And everyone ended up back at the bargaining table. University of Alberta political science professor Jared Wesley sees the Alberta situation as different, especially since the government limited debate on the legislation.
They're doing an end run around the constitutional norm.
He worries Albertans, relieved to have kids back in school, won't push back.
When governments, not just here in Alberta, but the rest of the country, see that the public doesn't push back when the notwithstanding clause is used to solve a normal policy dispute, that becomes a tool in the policy toolkit of premiers across, and prime ministers for that matter, across the country.
Other provinces are using it. In 2019, Quebec invoked the clause to prevent public employees from wearing religious symbols. And in 2023, Saskatchewan used it for legislation about sex education in schools and notifying parents when students change their name or pronouns.
Once the notwithstanding clause becomes part of the policy toolkit, any government can use it. And that can apply to any right: freedom of expression, equality rights, due process. These are things that I think Canadians have come to take for granted since 1982.
Education's underfunded.
So, was Alberta's legislation a standard move or a threat to fundamental rights? Like so much else, there's little agreement and much at stake.
Coming up, 3 students score World Series tickets for free.
We're just like trying to figure a way into the games. We drove 17 hours. We don't even have tickets.
How they made it into the Dome after a leap of faith in our moment. These 3 friends drove from Antigonish, Nova Scotia to Toronto for Game 1 of the World Series. Slight problem with their plan. None of them had tickets, but never mind, they had hope. Ben Cruckton and his friends also apparently had luck because after a 17-hour drive and some time lingering outside the Rogers Centre, free tickets, ended up falling into their laps. So tonight, the how'd they do that moment is our moment.
Some random guy just kind of came up to us and said, "Hey, do you guys want to come in with me?" And we're like, "Okay, like how much?" And he goes, "No, like free." At first we like kind of thought it was a joke. He brought us in, scanned us all in, and that was it. Once we were actually inside, it was just like absolute shock. We drove 17 hours. We don't even have tickets. We were just like trying to figure a way into the game. We basically went up to every news reporter we saw, kind of hoping that it would get out there and maybe somebody would donate some tickets to us. His seats weren't even beside us too, so we like really just didn't see him the rest of the game. It was such like an absurd, unreal experience. It honestly still doesn't make sense to us. We probably look over at each other every 20 minutes and go like, "No way, we're actually inside. Like, this is crazy." That was just such a great game to be at. The grand slam, the Varsho home run to tie it. It's absolutely electric in there when they're scoring. Just awesome experience.
I don't know, it doesn't make sense to me either. They say they don't know who this man was. They don't know why he gave them the tickets. They tried to pay him something or buy him a drink, but he just said, "Yeah, no, it's okay." He had extra tickets. Who are you? From all of us at The National, thank you for being with us. I'm Adrienne Arsenault. Take care.